I have nothing but good things to say about Phoenix. That was my home for 6 years. I created a lot of fun.
The atmosphere in the arena that night was supposed to be electric, the kind of summer game that carried the weight of a playoff chase and the pride of a team battered but still fighting. But instead, it turned into a storm of controversy, anger, and heartbreak when Sophie Cunningham collapsed onto the hardwood, clutching her knee in agony, while Bria Hartley stood just a few feet away with what appeared to be a sinister grin. It was a moment that didn't just stop the game, it shook the entire WNBA community. And the question that echoed across fans, players, and analysts alike was simple. Was this just an unfortunate accident, or something far darker? It all started in the second quarter when Hartley, driving aggressively toward the basket, forced her way through a crowded lane. Her momentum carried her straight into Cunningham's right leg, and the collision sent shockwaves through the Fever's lineup. Cunningham's body gave out almost instantly.
Fun memories and relationships and close friendships out there, and so it's going to be really nice to see.
She winced, grabbed at her knee, tried to rise, but the pain was too much. She collapsed again, the grimace on her face telling everyone watching that this wasn't a minor knock. The arena fell quiet, trainers rushing to her side as teammates and opponents alike stood frozen. Moments later, she was ruled out for the rest of the game, carried off the court leaning heavily on the shoulders of staff, still clutching her knee. For Indiana, it was a devastating blow. But what made it worse, what turned an injury into a scandal, was the camera catching Hartley seconds later, smiling. That image spread like wildfire. In an instant, social media filled with screenshots of Hartley's smirk. Fans called it malicious, cold, even evil. To them, it wasn't just a reaction. It was evidence.
See some of those people, but for me, I'm just dialed in. I'm happy to be here in Indiana.
Proof they needed to say out loud what so many had already been whispering. Sophie Cunningham wasn't just injured, she had been targeted. And Bria Hartley was the one responsible. The fury only deepened because of Hartley's reputation. This wasn't an isolated incident. Her career already carried a history of aggressive, borderline dirty plays that many believed crossed the line from toughness into recklessness. There was the moment earlier this year when she yanked Angel Reese's hair in the middle of a rebound, sparking outrage across the league. The scuffle with Rebecca Allen that earned her an ejection. The constant pattern of hard fouls, shoves, and scuffles that seemed to follow her from team to team. Alone, any one of those moments might have faded as just another heated clash in a physical league. But together, they built a story, a narrative that was impossible to ignore. And when paired with the grin caught on camera that night, it turned suspicion into outright condemnation. Inside the Fever organization, the mood was no better. Cunningham's family didn't hold back. Her sister Lindsay blasted the officiating.
Weapons, when you have AT on your squad, anything can happen.
Furious that referees never even reviewed the play, while her mother Paula accused Hartley of being out of control on the court, though she later deleted her comments. The criticism wasn't just emotional, it was focused on something that has long plagued the WNBA, the league's tendency to punish players for speaking out against officiating, while failing to properly hold accountable those who make dangerous plays. The frustration poured out not only from Indiana's loyal fan base, but also from neutral supporters across the league, who saw the collision and the grin as a moment that demanded action. For the Fever, the timing could not have been worse. Caitlin Clark was already sidelined with a groin issue. Sydney Colson and Aari McDonald were out for the season. Now, Cunningham, one of their toughest leaders and most reliable scorers, was gone as well. A roster already stretched to its breaking point had lost yet another critical piece. Cunningham's presence wasn't just about points on the board. She brought grit, toughness, and leadership.
When you have Satu, Ka, they have some newcomers that are really good.
She was the kind of player who steadied the ship in storms. Without her, Indiana looked like a team on the verge of collapse. And against the Connecticut Sun, one of the most physical teams in the league, their situation looked dire. Down 21 points in the third quarter, their season looked like it might unravel completely. But in the chaos of controversy, injury, and outrage, something extraordinary happened. Indiana refused to break. Instead, they mounted the greatest comeback in franchise history. The spark came from Kelsey Mitchell, a guard who has always played with fire but rarely with this much burden on her shoulders. At halftime, she had only 4 points. Nothing suggested that history was about to be written. But when the Fever returned from the locker room, Mitchell exploded. Shot after shot, possession after possession, she carved into Connecticut's lead. Threes from deep, drives into traffic, perfect trips to the free throw line. She scored 34 points in the second half and overtime.
But they're just playing really well, and so for us, so are we, but for us, we just have...
Finishing with 38 total, tying her career high and notching the single highest scoring game of the WNBA season. Every time the Fever needed a basket to stay alive, Mitchell delivered. In overtime, she scored Indiana's first 10 points by herself, including back-to-back threes that stunned the sun and sent shockwaves through the arena. What looked like a blowout had turned into an epic duel, with Mitchell standing at the center of it. But this was never just a one-player show. Aaliyah Boston anchored the paint, battling Connecticut's bruising front court with relentless energy. Her stat line was a masterclass in balance: 14 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Every rebound she secured, every pass she kicked out to Mitchell, kept Indiana alive. She set the foundation, the structure on which the comeback was built. Odyssey Sims, playing in place of Clark and Cunningham,
Be aggressive defensively, we have to stay in rhythm offensively, and just stick to our scouts.
stepped into the role of playmaker with poise. She scored 19 points and dished 7 assists, her aggressiveness keeping Connecticut's defense constantly unsettled. And then came Lexi Hull, who may not have filled the box score, but hit one of the most important shots of the night. The Fever clinging to momentum, she drained a three-pointer from the corner in overtime, sending Indiana's bench into chaos. That shot didn't just add points, it cemented belief. When the buzzer finally sounded, the scoreboard read, Fever 99, Sun 93. Indiana had completed a 21-point comeback, the largest in franchise history, and done it short-handed, without Clark, without Cunningham, without stability. What was supposed to be a night defined by injury and outrage instead became a story of resilience, unity, and one of the most memorable wins the team has ever achieved.
That's not awkward. If it's awkward, then you need to grow up. But, for Phoenix, they're...
Inside the locker room, Coach Stephanie White's pride poured out. She told her team this wasn't just about basketball. It was proof that they could endure storms that should have broken them. It was about resilience, about grit, about never being counted out. Her words struck deeper than usual because the players had just lived them. They had chosen to keep fighting, even when everything pointed the other way. Caitlin Clark, though absent, posted just 2 words on social media. Battled, battled, battled. So proud. Short but powerful, her message reflected the exact sentiment her teammates carried. Sophie Cunningham, even as she faced uncertainty, about her knee echoed the pride, tweeting simply, Kelsey freaking Mitchell. Raw, unfiltered support, showing that even in her own pain, she found joy in her teammates' triumph. Sydney Colson, sidelined for the year, joked online, "We down to 4 players, but fuck it, we ball." A reminder that humor, too, has its place in holding a fractured roster together.
Their roster the past 5 years, it's never been the same in 2 weeks, and I was a part of that.
For Indiana, the victory didn't erase the injury or the controversy. Sophie Cunningham's MRI still looms over the rest of their season. But the night provided something else just as real. Trust. Trust in each other. Trust that even short-handed, even battered, they could still rise. Out of one of the ugliest, most contentious moments in the WNBA season came Indiana's brightest light. Still, the controversy surrounding Bria Hartley remains. Fans are demanding accountability. Analysts are calling for a suspension. Critics say the WNBA must finally take stronger action to protect its players, not just with words, but with consequences. Because this isn't just about one collision. It's about a pattern. It's about a league deciding whether it values toughness or recklessness, whether it can afford to let moments like this pass unpunished.
Forever, so there's no awkwardness there. It's going to be nice to see some of them. It's going to be nice.
The debate will continue, but for now, one truth stands clear. Sophie Cunningham may have gone down, but the Fever stood taller than ever. And so the questions remain. Should Bria Hartley be suspended? Was her grin after the play just bad optics or proof of intent? And more importantly, how should the WNBA protect its stars from dangerous, repeated plays like this? Let us know what you think down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of one of the wildest nights in the WNBA season, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out on future stories. This was a night where controversy and resilience collided, and we'll be watching closely to see what comes next.